don't think that's what it is. Okay, Yone going to be banned away here as we jump into the draft for game number 1 here. Another LCK Roadshow. We are spoiled. 2 days ago, we had that incredible win for T1 over Gen G in very similar situation. And we are now back once again with the new challenges.
Crazy. I think Nongshim, given the fact that Yone and Talia, which happen to be good matchups into Azir, I get the feeling they're probably going to ban Azir here.
No, they're going to ban Varus.
Surely.
They're going to ban Varus.
If they ban, I mean, leaving Varus open is bad.
It's PvV.
If they ban Varus, it's Azir first pick. No, they banned Azir. They had to ban Azir.
So much better, yeah.
They had to ban it. There's no way. I mean, the Yone and the Talia was such like a setup.
Well, now I'm going to ride in Varus. Should I ride in Varus? I should ride in Varus.
Yeah. It's definitely going to be a Varus. I mean, I feel like T1, this is a good use of blue side where, you know, those bans on red side feel so like telegraphed, so locked in. You end up in this situation where, you know, they're forced to give up an OP because they have to respect just setting up for the Azir.
Speaking of OP, though, I mean, this is a pretty good combo in the Wukong and the Rumble. Wukong has seen so much success. I wouldn't have even blamed T1 for first picking Wukong in this scenario. Instead, of course, the Varus, very high priority. Wukong really has been surging. So I think what Nongshim have got here is good. Is it worth giving the Varus? Maybe not.
And I think T1 could just go like Gwen Xin Zhao potentially in this situation. Definitely some options.
Gwen Annie?
Could do.
They do really like Annie.
Aurora's still open, but I feel like when you've already picked it, I feel like it's a bit weaker if you're not going to use the Aurora as a flex option. Like they could have gone the Aurora into the Rumble as well, but they end up going for the Gwen, for Doran, and actually going for the Rise instead for Faker. A lot of mid laners banned, prioritizing that, letting Owner's pick go to the second rotation.
Kind of crazy. I wonder what Owner's plan is going to be, as the Victor is being considered here for Calyx. Man, the Kali would be fun. Don't know whether it'd be good, but it definitely would be fun.
You know, I'm kind of tired of seeing the Cassiopeia again and again and again into the Rise, so I'm hoping we're not going to get that, and it looks like we're not going to.
Victor or Orianna would be kind of cool too, because then you get the Cyclone Shockwave. But instead, it's just going to be the Ahri, and that will be a pretty good 1-2 punch. Ahri Wukong has worked out relatively well in the past.
A lot of dive, a lot of team fight power coming out from Nongshim with these 3 picks. And we'll ban the Xin Zhao to no real surprise to anyone.
Nope.
I think for T1, I think Rakan could be worth a ban here. They end up taking away the Jhin first and foremost. I think especially into the Varus, seen it a lot, and also has that long range to follow up and all that engage.
Poppy might be a consideration, as never mind, it will be Renata taken away. Of course, something that Keria has been fantastic on in the past.
Just kind of react to comp a decent amount.
We have to remember it's Lehens, so if a Shen ban comes through here, we may not be too confused about it.
Yeah, there's still a lot in the air that you could ban in terms of 80 carries or supports. I mean,
Alistar,
Rakan, I think are both fine bans.
There it is.
It's also, I feel like it's dangerous because Rakan fits with the comp of Nongshim really well, but you're blinding like Rakan into Varus plus whatever carrier wants to pick, which is dangerous.
We do have someone in chat saying that Teemo, Fiddlesticks, and Yuumi are all open, which I think is very valid because that is true.
Yeah. Sivir, we've seen a decent amount as an answer into Varus, can obviously Spell Shield the poke, match the wave clear a decent amount, and also that movement speed for when you get the team fights. If you end up picking the Rakan with that, if you have a comfortable lane, I think this is a really strong team fight comp from Nongshim.
I do think On the Hunt and Cyclone together are actually really, really powerful. Something like, you know how sometimes you have those moments where you press Cyclone, you're just not there yet? If you have On the Hunt, you just catch up very, very comfortably. Jarvan is going to be up here, though, as, of course, it was only the Xin Zhao taken away. There is still another Demacian prince here. And the Poppy is something that I was going to mention as well. That will be locked in here for Keria. Not necessarily a massive amount of lane control, but has so much value into this composition on Nongshim's side.
I think because T1 have really good neutral state where like you have the poke from the Varus, you know, you have the threat of like the Rise, you can also provide some of that poke and the Gwen can get that on the flank. I also think it makes the Rakan really hard to play into. Nautilus is often picked up as the answer to Poppy instead. Out of all the engaged supports, his engage is limited the least by here, because if you throw the Q, even if the Steadfast Presence comes out, still connect with it. So I feel like that's the reason they don't go for the Rakan there. And I think T1, right, you throw the Cataclysm down onto the Sivir and you can just slam her into it. It also means you have a good, some tools in terms of disengaging. I think Nongshim, their comp, you know, it's pretty straightforward with what they do in terms of setting up their engage. I think T1 have some options. I think their neutral state's pretty good. I think their 1-3-1 is pretty strong. They still have tools to play around with in the team fight in terms of dictating fights or even not opting into the fight with the Poppy ult. And it really comes down to this Varus as well, which I think the Varus we've seen take over so many games recently.
And this is Gumayusi as well. This guy is pretty good at Varus. I don't think we need very much introduction there. You guys know. And that was the prize that they got for first pick. And on top of that, they get a bunch of other things that I think they'd be very happy about. On the side of Nongshim, though, I think that there is a lot of teamfight prowess. They do get the ball rolling relatively early with this composition as well, just requiring some level 6s to really start some skirmishes. They can set up some sort of snowball, then maybe, just maybe, they can take a game here. But T1 looking very, very strong. And remember, guys, it's their home turf. It's very likely the tempo vibes are going to be on their side for this. I'm sorry, Ox. I should be, okay, I'll focus. Okay, let's get into the Rift. Game number 1. Oh, I got baited because I thought it was going to be fan chance, but the fan chance never happened in the right timing when it's the home ground. So that was a little bit awkward. Oh wait, hang on. We had them. They're on. Was that the T1 one that came second? I think the crowd mics in our ears particularly are a little bit quiet, so just had to figure it out there. But at least we did get some fan chants. And I think the Nongshim fan chants were actually pretty loud. I think maybe there is a relatively even distribution. And do you know what the best part is? If Nongshim looks around, right, the colors in the arena are red. Right? And so...
You know what's crazy? Our first series was blue vs blue.
Right?
And this one's red vs red.
Exactly. And so now they can look anywhere in the arena and feel like there's people that want them to win.
Maybe
so
wear glasses,
feel better.
take them off,
Yep.
so blur your vision a bit.
Perfect.
Feel better about it.
It's absolutely amazing. It will stop you from being able to see the game very well, which may hinder being able to do stuff. But maybe just don't wear them when you're walking your way in.
Well, that could be better if you start to fall behind.
True. Could it, though?
You know, if the team's losing, maybe you don't want
some
to...
aggression here as Gumayusi laying some damage down towards Gio as they do get themselves into this brush. Man, this is very, very bad for Nongshim, as level 2 will be hit very, very soon.
Also to note, Jiwoo went Ghost. You know, both supports actually went Ignite. We've seen a lot more heal from supports here, but both going for the aggressive summoner. And Jiwoo going Ghost while Guma has Barrier. So this low health bar of the Sivir is a lot more severe than it looks at first glance.
And also it's Hail of Blades on Gumayusi as well, so it's so much more early damage with like these level 1s. I feel like Hail of Blades is so powerful. Yeah,
you have a bit less poke with the abilities, but you saw that first trade, he got the 3 autos in, and immediately Jiwoo was like, oh lord.
Yep.
I'm suffering. And now Kerry is threatening. It looked like he was just looking for an angle. If Jiwoo stepped a bit too close to the turret, he was going to slam him into the wall. But doesn't go for it. But either way, Jiwoo chunked out. Might even look for a reset here.
Yes, pretty catastrophic. 6 CS were missed by the Sivir, as we have a 7 win streak here for Wukong. Wukong has been pretty good. See whether T1 will be able to knock down the monkey a notch.
I feel like, you know, Sundered Sky has been great for so many junglers, but the fact you have the empowered auto with extended range, and you're so slippery, I feel like you get so much value from it, on top of just his team fighting power.
True. What are we doing? Kerry and Lehens, they're just hanging out. Kerry just trying to make sure that Lehens doesn't get a cannon and then flashes.
You know what? This feels very Kerry Lehens.
It was very Kerry Lehens. I think maybe like they would have done that in a solo queue game, 100%. Maybe they forgot that this was actually an LCK game.
I feel like they're the sort of players who do in an LCK game anyway.
That's actually so true.
Yeah.
They would not really mind. But that was very silly.
Yeah, it was. I think he was just trying to...
The things that people do just to grab some tempo vibes, you know?
It's just so important. We've had so many... Oh, that was an attempt.
Yeah.
So many, like, back reset interactions. Like, we saw Faker walk up and stop Alex's reset. Guma was trying it there. Everyone's just fighting for these little advantages in the early game.
Well, so far, It is just a little bit of a lane swap here. Carrier has the Hex Flash activated, so that's obviously why he flashed away from Lehens. Just wanted an excuse to use the button.
Yes, he didn't want to just flash in place because it looked suspicious, but he wanted his Hex Flash available. So
although he could have backed and then flashed to get to lane faster.
That's true.
Which is what I often do.
I can believe it.
I feel like it's efficient. As Doran and Gio, the ones that are going to be facing off now. Not necessarily the most fun for a Sivir if the Gwen ever gets her needles in. But as you can see, Gio just really wants to get this wave into an okay position. The exhaust goes down, and this is what I was saying. Gio, no ghost. Will need to flash. It was a decent flash direction, but he's still going to be in range of those scissors, and it's a solo kill for Doran. I don't know what was expected to happen other than just death.
I feel like it's just a decision not to swap Gio up to the top side. And I guess maybe because the lane into the Varus was a bit of a struggle, but this is an absolute disaster. You've moved your Rumble away from the Gwen, a matchup we typically see favored. I'm getting a pause in, not sure.
Maybe that's Nongshim saying our Sivir went missing.
Yeah, honestly,
where did she go?
This happened to me again. I'm like, pause, guys, remake. This is unacceptable. The game's out. That is a rough position to be in. To have a Gwen have a solo kill this early, the exhaust value coming out huge, and just unable to escape. You know, I honestly think the flash attempt was decent, but that extended range coming out from the Gwen, able to finish off the Sivir.
By the way, don't you think that the screens in the middle, it kind of looks like a pot on top of a stove because of the fire underneath?
Yeah, I can see it.
It's like a really huge one. It's very, very cool. Carrier got a little bit of an audio issue at the moment, so we are going to solve that, make sure that we can get back into this game as soon as possible.
Yeah, he heard Gwen just solo killed Sivir. It's like, no, wait.
Yeah, there must be an issue here.
Must be an issue.
I didn't hear that. Maybe it's, yeah, it's going to be solved as soon as we can. Not getting too much information because I can't see the referees doing anything at the moment around Carrier right now.
Yeah, I think this immediately is such a huge swing in T1's favor in this game to have that early advantage. Because if Gwen gets rolling in the matchup, you really struggle to see who can answer. And we talked a little bit about the 1-3-1 potential with having the Ryze, with having the Gwen in the side lanes. If this Gwen gets a lead, it's game over.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a rough time. But I don't think it's necessarily all done and dusted. The problem is I think we've well and truly established which way this game is going. See, I didn't say it. I didn't say it.
I'm proud of you for that.
But I do think what I refrained from saying is in favor of T1 pretty massively.
Yeah.
At this point in time. Tempo vibes. I had to. I couldn't. I tried to hold on. I actually did. I put in a lot of effort to not say it. I couldn't help it.
And you just went and said it anyway.
I just went and said it anyway. I have no self-control whatsoever.
Yeah, we all knew that, though.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know why I ever really gave myself the task of not saying tempo vibes again.
Just accept who you are.
Yeah, that's what I need to do.
Okay, you're a man who embraces tempo vibes.
Yeah, I am. I am. That being said, I'm hoping that Nongshim are not. We need them to stay in this one. And look at this. It's a noodle pot, right? You can see. That feels like, you know, you've got the mascots and stuff like that, and they're really cool. What about just an entire noodle pot? It's Gumayusi. He's going to be going down to about 50% Carrier with the heroic charge. Get rid of Lehens, and that will at least keep Gumayusi alive for now. Doran teleports back towards the top side of the map. And he's probably just spent a whole bunch of money.
Yeah, he's probably feeling pretty great about himself right now, so...
I mean, Doran is kind of scary on Gwen after he's 0-3 to start the game. And yeah, he's level 6 now, and you can imagine Kingan's wondering what the heck happened.
Wait, look at his inventory and compare it to Kingan.
Oh, he's
Kingan
so learned.
Has an Amp
He's so
Tome,
learned, dude.
Double Amp Tome, 2-stack Dark. He had the Dark Seal before he killed him.
Oh, that is so
Oh, man. Well...
I don't know what we're going to do now as Nongshim.
You know those situations where you're like, it could be worse?
Yeah.
I don't think it could. Kingan...
He could have killed him twice.
Yeah, that would be worse.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty unprecedented, though.
But I think the outcome would probably be very similar.
Yeah. Well, Kingan's definitely on the back foot in this matchup now. Do you see a TP coming out from Carrier with the Spellbook?
Yep.
And we do see Gideon... Oh my god, Ju is...
Just turn back up. And
his average health this game has been like
20%.
Yeah. He's... Yeah, which is... It's been a struggle so far.
Well, he's got a cull. Looking to cash that one in. Has actually kept that CS gap at about 6, although we are going to have another wave shoved in, so Gumyushi will be able to extend it. Back does now come on down as Gio. I would recommend shoes. That crit cloak.
Oh, that is such a... No, yeah, don't... That is such a bad buy.
Yeah, I don't think that's ever been a bad buy in the history of League of Legends. As Equalizer is going to come on through here for Kingen, who's walking in odd direction. The needlework comes on through, and Doran is just having a great old time here in this top lane.
Yeah, honestly, some good dodges from Kingen, because I thought he was certainly dead. And Faker and Ona say, you know what? We'll take a free kill.
Yeah, they're going to look for it as Gideon wants to come on over, but unfortunately the monkey is a little too late, so he will slink back into the jungle. Oh, dearie me. That's a second kill for T1 as Keria Stepa's presence. Good timing wasn't necessary. That's only because Lahenz's anchor was a little off. As Gio, okay, let's see whether he can find this one as he does. Spell shield, a decent amount of damage here. Gumyushi's ultimate not doing too much as the flash over the wall is going to come on through as Keria also going to get out of there. Thankfully had his flash back up and available again. But Nongshim finding a great avenue in towards his bottom side when it really felt like T1 was starting to run away with the matchup.
Yeah, actually doing some good work there. Jiu getting good spell shield. The ult was blocked by Lehen, so wasn't able to pass on to Jiu. And ultimately, even with the Hail of Blades, there's not that much DPS from Guma in these 2v2s, whereas Jiu can just keep pumping damage.
Faker coming on over here as Gideon does smite, even though it was on 48 health. There's the exhaust down onto Calyx. Cyclone comes on through though as Doran. I know you're really strong, but you're not quite 1v3 strong just yet, as it's going to be another grub to be taken here. Nongshim will be able to lock that one down. Now Warrior Trickster and Spirit Rush going to be able to get these two over the wall, and instead it's actually Gideon having to flash. Warrior Trickster not quite up again. So we'll have to invest the Summoner spell, but still it's going to be 2 grubs out of the 3 over to Nongshim.
Definitely felt like a waiting for cooldown moment there from Gideon. Unfortunately, he was forced to flash over.
Must have been so close to it as well. It's a bit of a shame. But as soon as you see Poppy, it's like you have to just flash.
Yeah, just when things were starting to feel a little bit doomed though, right? They get the kill on the Doran, they get some Summoner's Bit on the bot side, showing some strength in the 2v2. They get the 2 grubs. Not all doom and gloom.
Yeah.
Nongshim.
Honestly, feel like they are focusing on the noodle pot, you know, that's looming over them right now. Helps them feel at home.
They're brewing up something good.
Yep, that's what I would assume here. So we're going to have a look at this fight one more time. Doran just really was feeling himself. You can understand why in this game, but probably shouldn't have been.
Just a little rushed, you know, and a bit overconfident. I think as well the fact that Kingen got that gold, the lead in the top lane was very significant, and the fact that he now has that, all the Dark Seal stacks are gone, that top lane matchup feels so much more stable now. Oh, Charm miss. We'll say he wanted to hit the minion.
Okay, well, we've got Doran back in lane once again. We need a little bit less Doran and maybe a little bit more door walk. You know, like he's running. He's going a bit too fast. Can you slow it down?
Yeah, yeah.
That's maybe a different reference in that, but that's sort of where I'm thinking. As he is just going to be dashing after King and still going to be way ahead of this Rumble. I say way ahead, 200 gold isn't really that much. It should still have an advantage here in this lane. As Kingen, okay, does have Equalizer. Is Doran going to move up? As it was a teleport in from Lahens. I think that gives everything away.
Yes. When you just see a Nautilus randomly under the tower, you're like,
he looks like he's hiding.
Suspicious.
Lahens is still here.
He's like, maybe if I just stand here long enough. He's not playing Teemo. He doesn't go invisible.
Ooh, Faker going to get charmed. Keria not able to quite find the angle to lock down Calyx. He's been doing just fine. I do feel like the restabilization of this game here for Nongshim is pretty good. Yeah, pretty impressive. This feels different to our first series of the day. You know? It's got a more, I mean, Rise is in the game,
more legend
but
feel.
It's got a far more legendy feel.
Yeah. That checks out. Oh, Jiu is in a lot of trouble.
Okay, this is feeling less legendy as he does get a phenomenal spell shield. It's just probably not going to be enough as the Ignite is ticking down. One last tick, not going to be enough.
So
and he just
5
way out.
HP.
There we
5
go.
HP.
Calculated. This is Legend Group stuff, guys. This is Legend Group stuff. Obviously, you make those calculations.
Didn't even burn the flash, which I have to admit, I feel like was maybe... I mean, he lived, so what can I say? I think flashing the ult would have been the play. Did cut it a little bit close there. but ultimately the spell shield on the wall stun was the important thing. He got that off.
The fact that he managed to get it on heroic charge when there were so many things flying around, that was the impressive part.
Yeah.
For me.
And yeah, I think for T1 must be a bit frustrating because that felt like a surefire kill, and unfortunately not able to get it.
Not even
Nice
flash.
farm. Yeah, not getting the flash.
It's
Big.
ice cold. And after Jiu's early game as well, like if Jiu was playing like a god, you know, like winning all these trades, but no, he got solo killed like 5 minutes ago and still just doesn't flash in that moment. He's like, no, I'll be fine.
And also, you're playing on a team with a Jarvan. You really want to take Sivir's flash whenever you can, because then it's just an easy kill for Jarvan just to press R.
Yeah.
So the fact that he holds on to that, really important.
It's almost like he knew that he was dead again if he flashes, no matter what. And so you may as well hold flash and try to live instead of investing it without Jarvan having to trade his ult for it.
Yeah, maybe that was a decision, in which case, fair play.
Honestly, if it is, that's kind of crazy because we needed a fair bit of hindsighting to come up with this as the justification for just not pressing a button in a split-second moment. But that is still going to be Hextech Dragon secured here by T1. And they retain some extra tempo on this map as well. As you can see, 1,000 gold in the lead. They've taken the first dragon. And was only their first objective of this game, but they've moved it up to 1,000 gold lead. Things are still moving further and further T1's direction.
Yeah, Doran actually commits the ult there. Won't step up any further, though. Won't be punished.
Looks like he is just trying to clear the wave and going for a back.
Yeah. Looks like Nongshim. Oh, unless.
Sometimes you cancel a back, and perhaps it's not a good move. Sneaky Monkey comes out of the brush, and they are all inside the circle. Gwen is not immune, and sometimes you just continue the channel, you know?
Yeah.
Greedy for that one extra wave.
We've all done it before. And Faker gonna apply some pressure here. Should be able to get this plate. And that's, oh, they actually might find him.
Yeah, Lehens is coming down here as Faker can just walk into the Realm Warp, but he was right on top of Lehens. Lehens finds the ulti there as well, buys time for Jiu to make his way back, and Faker ain't flashing out of that one because Lehens was already over the wall, and Jiu grabs himself his first kill of the game. That's Beats of Warfare over to Nongshim as well. As now Calyx with some Foxfire here, and man, Nongshim pulling the vibes back.
Yeah, oh, Doran looking for Jiu.
Oh. He cancelled it, as of course I think Doran probably would have been able to, and Jiu is well and truly dead yet again. Solo killing Jiu. That is Doran's job this game, and man, is he good at it.
Yeah, he's doing it well. I just think in this situation, not really much that Jiu can do there. As for the Faker, the kill onto him, Realm Warp at rank 1 really doesn't have that much distance, and Lehens landing everything.
Yeah, just a little bit unfortunately using it on top of Lehens.
Yeah. I think in half. It's hard to say. Maybe if he'd gone.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Owner taking a lot of damage here. Lehens trying to hold on. The carrier just knocks Kingen up into the sky. Heroic charge comes down, and Doran threads the needle as best he can. Was Kingen trying to get something off the back end, but he's not going to be able to do so. Now Lehens is in an awkward spot. Does get a max range dredge line. I don't know whether this will be getting him to safety, and it doesn't. In fact, so down goes the Nautilus as well. And T1, I mean, it was some steps forward there from Nongshim, but T1 just kind of did some big old leapfrogging and have found another advantage.
Yep.
Okay, Faker and Gideon fighting one another. Here's a Cyclone. As once more, Jiu going to be able to find a really nice spell shield. Faker having to get himself out of the way here. And the flash follow comes through from Gideon, who picks up a solo kill on the Rise, who is around the red buff. Owner takes a Rift Herald. We're doing things everywhere right now. There is just so much stuff happening. I don't know whether it's good stuff, but it's stuff, and things happening is fun.
This game has turned so chaotic so quickly. It feels like non-stop action from both sides. Just when you're about to praise one team,
Yes,
the other team makes a move in return. And, you know, definitely some question marks here. I'm not sure how that initial play where Lehens and Kingen died came to be. Felt like they were kind of aggressing in an area where they didn't have support. And then speaking of aggressing in an area where you didn't have support, Faker just tries to 1v1 Gideon. And then the dive that came out from, we'll see how this happens. So they just walk up.
let's make sense of it, shall we?
Okay, they walk up on Owner, kind of disrespect him a little bit, and they get locked into the fight. They don't have the backing of their team, really, though.
I mean, it is just a 1v1 between Owner and Kingen. that Ona then has to flash out of the way of, but Keria does manage to finally get on top of Kingen.
Yeah, and then here, this is one of these situations where, you know, you're winning so much on one side of the map, you could have just taken that advantage. And Faker wanted to go down and cover the bot wave, and ended up in a really unfortunate position. And then here, this ended up really unfortunate because the spell shield was really early, and then it was a mistimed charge.
No!
If it was a split second later, then Jiwoo was just dead.
Oh, that's a real shame. So it's like a misclick, but he just got value out of it. Kind of crazy. 2 stacks left on the Cull as well, so that's going to give Nongshim a bit of extra money back. And Feats of Strength actually going over to Nongshim as well, as thumbs up from Lehens, going for the BM play, but the exhaust is down. I don't know whether it really did too much, but a couple of summoner spells now on cooldown here for Keria.
Maybe he's just trying to make Lehens sleepy.
Well, I don't know whether he is. He's looking pretty jazzed up in this game. And especially when Jiwoo is just constantly dying to Gwens and things like that, you could imagine it's probably getting Lehens relatively riled up in this game.
Specifically to Gwens, let's be clear, he's only died to Doran.
And only solo kills as well.
And only solo kills. That is his weakness, okay? We've ascertained that. That is how you take Jiwoo out, is you just latch Doran onto him.
Yeah, if you don't include deaths versus Gwen, he's doing incredibly well.
Yeah, he is, you know?
Like, actually, he is doing incredibly well.
Oh.
Kingen having a little bit of a rough time here, as the equalizer will go down just to clear out the wave, but my goodness, that's what it feels like to be hit by the kitchen sink, ladies and gentlemen. And that is, yeah, Ona grabbing credit for that kill. As Calyx taking a fair bit of damage here from Faker as well. And he will hold on to his ward as a reward. Well, won't need to reward because he saves the ward. And that's his reward.
Do you see Nongshim pick up a dragon on the other side though, but it's a good proactive play from T1. They will get a tower off the back of it as well, and I'm waiting for the moment where something else happens, because usually we get the one play and then the other play on the other side, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like it's so we were watching the DRX DNF series, and that felt like it was just it was a constant service ace game in tennis.
Yeah.
Whereas this is actual rallies. We're getting rallies, you know, like the ball's going back and forth. The other one was like ball gets hit, goes out. And then we spend a bit of time figuring out where the ball went. We move the ball back, and then we eventually try and hit it over the net again. Whereas this is definitely a little bit more like the game. We've got a bit of the rhythm going on.
Do you have 2 items already for Jiwoo with the Essence Reaver and the Navori, so...
Feels like a big spike for the Sivir as well. Of course, the Infinity Edge really is the icing on top, but...
I mean, I feel like this is the point in the build where your damage hasn't really come online, but your cooldowns just don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
And especially the Spell Shield has such a high amount of value in this game. A lot of abilities that you'd love to be able to use of that. And once you pop your ult, the reduction in cooldown you get when you're consistently auto-attacking is so quick. And ultimately for T1, aside from the Varus, it is a pretty short-range composition, so there should often be a target you're able to hit as the Sivir.
Yep, short range or low mobility, as Varus not necessarily known for getting around the map super quick. So certainly could be something that Nongshim can focus on. I think we're really hitting the point where Nongshim's composition is getting strong though. And so being able to fight over the next couple of dragons is going to be so, so important. They did manage to get the second one, and the next one's going to be up in 3.5 minutes time. Nothing in the top pit, as we can see here, as that was secured by Ona. So Rift Herald can go down anywhere they'd like to put it, as Arakan has been started.
I mean, it's just after 20 minutes, it's just spawned. Of course T1 are going to start it. This is their new 20-minute Baron.
This is how you do it. Well, Lehens is going to spot out what's going on here, as Keeper's Verdict gets rid of the monkey, and now there is just nothing that Nongshim can really do. The Equalizer comes on through. That is going to be the smite. Locked down, beautifully done here by T1, as there is the knock-up onto Doran. Flash out from Lehens, but the Needles are going to follow him. Now Calyx looking for his way forward. Does manage to get the charm onto Calyx here, as the Realm Warp trying to get T1 out. Keria dives forward, wants to just buy some space, and he'll get it. Calyx, though, throws out the charm, gets some flashes, but not too much more. Faker and Gumayusi having to use those summoners to get out, but feels a bit like highway robbery, ladies and gentlemen. The Arakan, a powerful buff. And T1 just kind of took it.
T1 doing such a fantastic job. You could see their vision set up around the Baron pit and that sort of area of the, you know, Nongshim's jungle leading into this was so good. They started and immediately they have the confidence. Keria moves in. is in that brush with the control ward, so he gets the ult on the Wukong. And then here, they know they got what they wanted, right? Doran plays a little bit aggressively and finds a kill into Lehends. But after that, they know that the call is, we got what we wanted, we can disengage, right? Even though Guma gets hit by the charm, he's never really under that much threat after he uses his flash. And they all know that they've got the objective, they're trying to get out. Faker flashes the charm, none of them overcommit for the fight. And it's just great work all around.
Yep, works out excellently. And so now Nongshim, tail between their legs just a little bit here, but minute and a half on the next Dragon. That's going to be their next opportunity to go for something. Interesting part is the fact that Jiu's managed to pull back a gold advantage, actually, after those couple of kills that he was able to pick up in the previous skirmish, and a 1.1k lead here for Calyx on this Ahri.
Something I will say, I believe it's 30 petals to 4 in favor of T1. You know, sometimes you have a team takes the Arakan, and you end up like 20 to like 15 or something, but this is like a huge advantage.
That is only 4. That's just, it's not very, very good. All right, bit of a dive here on this top side of the map, as Faker could be in trouble, and by could be, I mean definitely is. Calyx tanking up this turret for way too long though, and Faker will just get back to clearing out this wave. So never you mind, they just didn't have the damage, didn't hit enough buttons, and the blue guy is going to be able to walk away.
Yeah, he just picked up his Seraphs on his last back, so that extra shield came in really clutch there. Really big on the rise as well, how much mana he has, so able to stave off that dive. And in return, T1 pick up that mid lane tower, and now they're looking for the Ahri, who has no ultimate.
Well, Gideon does come on over here and just gets blast coned back by Carrier, who is just going about his business. They will find the Ahri, as Lehends also finding an awkward angle. That is going to be ulti spell shielded by Jiu really nicely against Carrier, as Realm Warp does get Faker completely out of there. Ona has to get away as well. He'll have to flash. That was so weird.
Yeah, Jiu was thinking of flashing over for the Jarvan, but made the right call not to go for it. But now, a lot of summoners on cooldown, a lot of ultimates on cooldown. Dragon up in 5 seconds. Advantage in the game, definitely towards T1. Bit of a goal lead, but also that Arakan advantage in their favor. But we do see a TP from Faker coming from the top side, so not overly concerned about this Dragon, it seems.
Yeah, not really going to be forefront of their minds, but Faker may be understanding that he is the thing that people want to go towards on the map. And so he's going to distract Nongshim enough for them to head towards the top side, as Gwen is just going to take Dragon for free.
I think Nongshim really concerned that if they give up control of the top side, they could lose Baron.
I mean, Baron's up in 30 seconds time. I think they had time to be able to get over and at least test this.
Maybe their thought process was they all go bot, T1 get control of top side, and once they lose control of top, they're never getting it back.
Well, that is going to be the Cyclone connecting onto Carrier, but the anchor does not land. Second Cyclone is going to be enough to put down the Poppy, as now Calyx going forward will get knocked up by the flag and track, but Gumayushi's in no man's land. He's just dead. And Nongshim getting 2 quick kills. Doran now dashing around here looking for Kingen. Kingen trying to keep him interested so that Jiu can come over and get even more. And now that the Baron has spawned and there are 2 down on the side of T1, Nongshim are feeling like they have a chance to take it.
Yeah, there are some low health bars, so we'll see if T1 opt to contest this. This 5v3, looks like they're resetting the Gwen, so I think they might just go for a steal. It's risky, but Ona is alive.
Yep, Faker seeing what he can do here. Hook is going to connect there as they're looking to distract Ona. The Cataclysm comes on through. Down he goes. And that is going to mean the Baron goes over to Nongshim as well. And I thought giving up that Drake wasn't going to work, but with the pick, oh my God, was it beautiful here from Nongshim.
Yeah, we'll see who gets caught on the exit, though. Great charm will stop Faker, but I think Kingen might be...
Look at that pesky ward spotting him out, as he's going to try and go for the empowered recall, as Doran will take a bit of damage, but in the meantime, it's just Kingen dead. So that is 1 Baron removed.
But still, a massive win for Nongshim. And ultimately, they gave it the Dragon. They go for this cheeky little hide behind the terrain from Arakan, and Carrier walks up. Even though the Dredge Line misses, that almost works in their favor, because I think T1 get baited in, like, hey, they missed their Dredge Line, maybe we can save Carrier. Ona and Guma walk up, and Guma without flash is such a vulnerable target, especially with the extra movement speed of the Sivir. They even managed to move down and save their Rumble. And then in this 5v2 situation, as Doran went for the reset, Lehends lands the Dredge Line, even ults Faker to keep him out of the situation, so he can't get a big combo off there and potentially finish off Kingen and maybe Lehends himself.
So Lehends on the Nautilus, he is a bit of a miracle worker when it comes to this champion. hadn't really spoken about it so much. Like, I feel like it was only a few months ago that it was Lehens' Nautilus and then the weird stuff, you know, was kind of the story for this guy. So feeling very, very comfortable at this stage. Of course, missing the dredge line wasn't exactly part of that the whole praise situation, but he is still very, very happy. Yeah, zoning.
Oh, Faker has Realm Warp. Should be able to get out.
Well, Lehens knows exactly where he Realm Warps to, by the looks of things, as he did manage to find it last time around, as now he's boosting on over. Does have the Cinders. Depth Charge going to be able to knock him up, and then he picks him up with the Anchor. Another Cyclone is going to deliver Faker another death here, as 0-3-0 is unfortunately going to be on that scorecard. And T1 fighting against a Baron, and now in a 4v5 scenario. Thankfully for them, the Rumble doesn't have it. And you know, he's in the bottom lane, but still, this is going to be out of turret in mid lane.
So often we see Faker targeting the side lane, and T1 will respond to it, or T1 will get something out of it. And this is just an example where Nongshim find an angle to punish. You know, he thought he could get away with the ult. The CC's there, and even more so because it's a Nautilus Wukong. Some combos of champions, you'd actually be able to channel TP out, but they have so much CC and they have enough damage to finish him off that he just ends up going down. We take stock of the items in the game at the moment. Jiwoo 3 in pocket with the IE finish. He is really starting to hit.
And this is actually, this is where the game starts to skew, right? Because we've got a crit 80 carry that does massive AoE damage in these team fights against a team composition that's quite low range, especially after Doran's outside of his Misty circle. That does make things complicated for range champions. But it's against the lethality Varus, which generally doesn't do as much consistent damage. And so if Nongshim can get the team fights they're looking for, the longer it goes, the incredibly more difficult it gets for T1.
I mean, what's crazy is that we have like 2-level leads. Well, it's about a level and a half between Gideon and Ona, with the fact that we have all these pedals in favor of T1, and they got the Arakan as well. And there's still so much XP in favor of Nongshim.
Yeah, that's actually ridiculous. How did that even happen?
Well, Baron obviously gives a lot of XP as well, but also a bit of farm lead and the more recent kills when everyone's higher level. But yeah, Nongshim in a great spot. Dragon Spawn in 45 would only be the second for Nongshim, but they are firmly establishing control over the area. They sacrificed their last dragon. It turned out great. It seems they are very hell-bent on not sacrificing this one.
Yep, this is where they've moved their vision. This is where the opportunity is going to begin for Nongshim to work on this bottom side of the map. They've done their homework, and that's what we like to see. As Jiu is just being bait right now. As Calyx, he's going to take it. The Chains of Corruption come down. It's a very early Zhonya's as Faker does get hooked, but maybe it's an overextension this time for Lehens. Doran goes in. I don't know about that, as the Keeper's Verdict will knock the Monkey away, and down goes the Sivir. T1 find their prize, and down goes Nongshim. Gideon just had to watch from the sidelines as he had to vacate via a gigantic hammer. And that is 3,500 kills for Faker.
He finds it now, Realm Warping the minions. Looks like they're going to try for the end on the back of that fight. T1, give them an inch, and they'll take a mile. It's only Gideon up to see if he can try and defend 1v5.
Yep, Gumushi going to be tanking that turret, keeps these minions alive, and T1 continuing to push. I mean, it's a little bit dicey. Lehens is up in 2 seconds, but him and Lehens, I don't even know whether they're going to be able to stop this. First Nexus turret does go down. The second one is going to evaporate. There is so much damage. Gideon goes down. Lehens cannot stop it. And there goes the game in the blink of an eye. T1 just say, nah, we win these.
Got to be a heartbreaker for Nongshim. So much was going right, but you give a small opportunity over. Faker cashes in, gets his 3,500 kills, but they take that game in a moment, and I think it was just an overzealous engage. You know, you saw them fly in, you saw Calyx try and force with the ult, the Equalizer a little bit overzealous, Lehens going in to flash out, and then Jiwoo gets slammed into the wall. Carrier with a phenomenal wall slam at the end to catch out the enemy AD carry. Just, it feels like this is T1 in a nutshell when it comes down to these big moments.
It did feel like that was against the tempo vibes of the game. That would be my example, where it felt like Nongshim were really carrying that game under, like it was running at the beat of their drum, right? Like they were able to move over toward that bottom side. They set up the catch, and then you make one mistake and T1 say, no, the game is ours.
You do look at the goal graph though, it was a bit here and there throughout, you know.
True.
I feel like it was a little bit back and forth. The tempo vibes were a bit fickle that game.
They didn't quite know where they were going. Perhaps it was just a heart monitor of tempo vibes, and maybe that's the way we like it. It's time for us to take a short break. When we get back, the space gonna break down that brilliant game, then we'll have game number 2 as we head back to Incheon. This is so much fun. See you soon.
빠르긴 하다 미는.
끝날 듯? 풀공은?
궁 없어. 흐름 보자.
피 관리해야 돼 이거. 노공 이긴 거밖에 모른다. 끝날 것 같은데?
끝날 때.
잘 치면 끝나?
미드 라인만.
할래?
사이드 내고 좀. 대표 내가 끊을 수 있어.
오케이.
타워
라이만
타워 타워
타워 잘 타워.
타워 쳐 내가
버리고
막할게.
타워 버리고 타워.
타워
네.
잡아줄게.
They
Rush
saw
of
the
blood
finish
to the
line.
head.
They saw the finish line,
Yeah.
stumbled, and unfortunately didn't stick the landing. And now we're in a situation where they are on blue side, and I think something to mention is there was a lot of mid laners banned in the last draft. So we saw Yone, Talia, and Azir all banned away. Be interested to see how things develop this time around. No surprise with the Pantheon banned away by T1. I wonder if we'll just get Pantheon Vi.
Ooh, Vi on
Vi
the blue
banned by
side.
Nongshim, so heavily targeting the jungle.
It's an interesting ban to be on blue side as well. But I don't think first pick Vi really works, and maybe you just don't want to deal with it. Sejuani going to be taking away one of Gideon's best, as the jungle pool is going to be the focus here.
Interestingly, opt to ban
Maybe just a
that
Talia
one.
ban, and then just first pick Azir and call it a day.
Yeah, but maybe, yeah.
Maybe you don't
then
have
we
to
just
ban
get,
Talia.
Maybe we just get the Azir ban if the Talia ban comes through. We'll see. I do feel like that Sejuani, with Trundle being so entrenched in the meta, we don't see it as often. But then maybe they're expecting this Trundle third ban.
Maybe.
Which I feel like is a bit weaker now that the Sejuani has been picked up. But now, both Talia and Azir are up and available. And I feel like Nongshim might be of the mindset of, oh, we'll just take Talia and they can have Azir. But I think T1 are fine with that every single time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
They banned the Azir themselves, so not willing to give it open. This is how much value they put into the Azir that they won't risk giving it over to Nongshim.
yeah, and this is how much the Talia matchup has kind of fallen from grace as well, where you just don't even bother with the Talia half of it. Just get rid of the Azir.
They did buff Azir on this patch, which was crazy.
It was
for the LCK.
very strange.
I mean, I feel like they could have nerfed him and they still would be picking Azir, but the fact they buffed him,
Yeah.
definitely,
Man, there's a lot of, it's like 5 jungle bans.
yep. A Senna first pick is a little bit bold.
Yeah.
Some of the picks we've seen do well in the Senna are like the Corki. We've even seen the Smolder occasionally be picked up into it, but I feel like very cards up on the table with this one being picked up so early.
It does show your hand a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think, Senna obviously scales extremely well has that long range, but I think the lane, you know, if you're into a weaker trading lane, she does really well because you can just frequently trade sustain up. But there are some lanes she gets bullied out by very hard.
Well, we're looking at some DNF strats here as the Nocturne is going to be locked in.
I feel like this is, because the thing is, I've talked about this before, is that if you E is the center, he can't target the center with the ultimate. You know, he pops you pop the E, he can't fly to you.
But if you time, if they are going to play the Orianna, which they are, if you time the shockwave well enough and you see where the center is and you just target someone that's just behind her, you can still hit her on the way.
Yeah, that sounds ambitious. It also sets up, you could go like center Tom potentially if you really felt you were that concerned about this Nocturne Orianna combo.
You could also lock in Scion Kindred and then just stack all over the place, you know? Scion, Kindred, Viger, what did we say? And then and we need Nasus.
Would be a lot of stacks.
It would be 2 top laners as well, which I don't think is necessary.
But I think ultimately, Nongshim, they have this long-range pick. T1 are picking things they want to close the distance with, and Nongshim are like, cool, we need to defend our center. Find a way to do this.
Man.
Go in for the Galio Viego. So a lot of skirmishing power between these two. You have the setup with the Galio, the CC to try and get a reset for the Viego. Does mean if this Nocturne dives in, you want to ult on top and hopefully finish him off so the Viego can get a reset and get momentum. It means that these fights are going to be so explosive. That first initial kill will really dictate who it goes in favor of. And we'll see T1 opting for the Ambessa for Doran. Taking that one with, you know, the Gwen gone, the Rumble gone, and also the opportunity to ban away some top lane picks if they're really concerned. Although, I wonder in this situation if you do get rid of the Tahm Kench, if you are worried that's going to come through as something into the Nocturne Orianna. Alistar's something we've seen paired with Senna a lot. It does give you a pretty passive lane, but if you get them out of lane, they're really strong. But you're on red side, so you can have first choice to the Alistar. So I think T1 don't necessarily need to ban away that. They do get rid of the Camille, which is something we saw picked into Ambessa when she first came into the meta, and also would sync really well with the Galio. So I think that makes a ton of sense to ban that away.
Yeah, that's a good one. Would have also kind of fit with T1's composition because we see it paired with Nocturne all the time as well. But the Caitlyn going to be removed here. And the Alistar was banned away. I was wondering whether they might even consider like a Shen ban or something like that, just because Lehens loves it so much. There's a bit of a global vibe going on here for Nongshim.
Yeah, we saw Senna Alistar so much at EWC and with a really high win rate. So kind of makes sense they banned that one away. It does make me wonder what Humakari are opting to take specifically in this Senate, if they are planning to try and bully it out in the lane. The Thresh going to get banned away, obviously respecting the Aphelios Thresh that came out against Gen.G to great effect in that final game. We'll see what they opt to go for. I think it'll be very... The thing is, I think Nongshim have the opportunity to kind of respond to a degree because they'll telegraph a good amount of what they're going for with this first pick.
Yeah. Show us what kind of lane this is going to be.
Available, which is obviously a big favorite of Guma. I think the Braum could end up being like a Braum Lucian, but does have early lane pressure. But I think it's a lane with, you know, with the range Jhin. You could evade, and yeah, I think the Jhin is a better choice here. You know,
counter pick for support is also so powerful, right?
Yeah, I think it makes it harder for Lehens to make a pick here. I think the Jhin, when you have this like dive in focus with the Nocturne Orianna, the Jhin can just open up with his ultimate pretty comfortably. And that disruption caused by the rest of your team, you can just open up on. Nongshim looking at top lane options, I think Renekton makes a lot of sense. You know, obviously a lot of power early on, although they opt to go instead of Xante, playing full peel. This is very much eggs in the center basket. Trying to have
I feel like it's eggs in the Viego basket, personally.
Well, that too.
At least they do have 2 threats kind of already represented in the Viego and the center. And Galio does do a fair bit of damage here. Tahm Kench going to be the lock-in. For Lehens, one of his old favorites.
Yeah, they do end up going for that, so I think that one was something that maybe T1 probably expected, could have banned away. It does make me interested to see what they have prepared to play into that. If they...
Big Bad Brad?
I'm thinking they could go the Bard, they could go something like a Nico.
Oh man, Nico's still up.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy. I feel like that's a no-brainer. It'd be so much power. Don't scare us like that. Come on, man. Keria instead going to do his signature pick here. Recently picked up a skin on this one, I'm pretty sure, although starting to lose count with the amount of skins these players have.
Yeah. Yeah, so Nongshim end up with this composition. They have a ton of protection for the center. They're kind of banking on the fact that she'll become this long-range cannon who can just attack from such a distance. And if you try and dive in, they have a lot of bulky champions to kind of peel, and the Viego has the kind of throughput in fights. He has that reset potential. So I think DPS-wise, they would struggle without that. On the side of T1, they have that knock Orianna combo, and they can kind of open up with the artillery backing that up. The Jhin Bard is a pretty punishing lane. They should have prior mid as well with the Orianna. And the... Yeah, I think ultimately... I think it's hard to wait too... I mean, I kind of feel like the Nocturne Orianna, specifically into the center Tom, is going to have struggles. It really comes down to if they can find some momentum. And we've seen, obviously, very different teams. DNF, our team who has made use of this Nocturne Orianna. We've seen how it can work and how it can not work. We'll see how T1 manages combo in comparison.
This might be redemption for the DN freaks. You know, if T1 can't manage to make this one work, then maybe it's just a little bit too hard. We've been seeing it for many years, for quite a long time. So I guess we already know. We'll just have to see whether T1 can drive this one to a 2-0, whether the Noodles are gonna be able to cook something up for us and bring us to a third game, a 6-gamer on the last day of our first week here of our very first round 3 here in the LCK, and it is at our LCK Roadshow, the T1 home ground as well. That is very, very fun. So we are going to be loading up onto the Rift very, very shortly. I think I have my, I normally have my cadence down, and I thought maybe I was lagging, but actually we are just taking a little bit longer getting into the game.
Building up the suspense.
Yeah.
Heating up the...
I was well and truly suspended.
Yeah, well, so is the pot in the middle that's been heated up.
And I was thinking, we have oftentimes got like abbreviations for combos of champions, and I was thinking we could make one for Galio Viego.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of really fun options. You can go with like Galileo.
Okay.
Galego.
Galego.
And then I thought it could be Galagugu. Did you ever play Viva Pinata?
No.
Oh, it's a phenomenal game. I think it's like mega cheap on Steam. You basically raise pet pinatas.
That sounds fun.
And they all have funny names. And a Galagugu was like a very rare one. It was very difficult to get. So that one...
Is there a name for the Nocturne Orianna combo?
I was actually talking about the Galio Viego combo.
No, I know, but is there a name for the Nocturne Orianna
no, there's
combo?
not.
Because that we've seen that combo a lot, and I don't think there's a name for it.
Ah. What about Ori Turn?
Ori Turn? Why did she turn? What's she turning towards?
The win. The enemy nexus. That's where she's turning.
Is someone saying
she turns around all the time because she's a ballerina.
Yeah, Ori Turn.
Ori Turn. Do it.
Do a turn.
Pirouette.
Yeah.
Maybe we just call it the pirouette then. We'll just go a level deeper.
Oh.
Know what I'm saying? And then only the knowers will know.
Only the people tuned in right now would understand.
Exactly.
Only the people who know the lore.
And this is the first time that we've had the Galagugu versus the pirouette.
You miss, you know, someone, maybe they're busy, maybe they're at work.
Yeah.
You miss one episode of LCK, they're gone.
And then you just have no idea what's going on.
Yep.
I think the pirouette is actually kind of dope though, because it like when we explain it, they're like, oh, I hate you. That makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that, like you have that level of frustration. I like it. I like that a lot. The Galagugu I don't think is going to stick, but I think Galileo is, that's a fun one because it is almost word fusion and it's that dude that did like the maps and stuff. He was the maps guy, right? Galileo? Or did he do a lot of like, was he Celestial stuff?
Don't ask me. Why'd you ask me this on broadcast?
Oh, I'm sorry. We have a bit of an observer issue. Obviously, we don't have any issues at the moment. We're very happy to talk about Galagugus and Galileo and stuff. He was a very, very early philosopher slash something else, wasn't he?
He was definitely a astronomer, physicist guy, right?
Yeah, and he did philosophy. Like, I feel like philosophy was always entrenched in science in the very early years. Anyway, we're just doing some live broadcast. Just Google it. I typed in Gal, and the first thing that was suggested was Galagugu.
That's a you problem.
Yeah, obviously just like Viva Pinata, even now. A little bit too much.
Was he the... He was Italian, right?
He was an astronomer, yeah, he was. Back in the 1500s, the mid-1500s. What do you remember of those times?
Oh, so much. It's all coming back to me.
Yeah. I don't remember too much. I don't think I was I must have been very young.
Wasn't he the one who said that the Earth rotates around the sun instead of the other way around, and he was called a heretic?
That might have been him. He would have said it in Italian, though, so he wouldn't have actually said that. We also have a bit of a synopsis that we can read, but first, it is time for us to get into the game. And I think there'll be fan chants. There's a guy yelling, but I don't think he's doing the fan chants. Okay, never mind. Oh no, they had the synopsis written up for us on the prompter, and now we don't have the synopsis anymore. Oh no, Control Z, so powerful.
Oh, I can't wait for you to... Sorry, I just want to say I can't wait for you to pronounce this. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Galileo di Vincenzo?
Not that bit.
Oh, it still keeps going. Golly
You could
gee.
do the whole thing, that whole name, in one go. You got to do the whole...
No, I'm not going to do that, because there might be people from Italy that may not appreciate it, okay?
You'll be banned from eating pizza.
And he was, okay, astronomer, physicist, and engineer, and wasn't even, there was no dabbling in philosophy at all, so I was just a liar. Maybe that was a bit just Da Vinci. He did a bit of all of it.
Getting a little bit mixed up.
Yep. He was another Italian dude. Italians were pretty good. Figuring out stuff. Okay, here we've got a little bit of a lane between Calyx and Faker. As Lahan's already taking a fair bit of damage here towards his bottom side. Gio trying to get some damage down and does offer a fair bit back, but otherwise not too much to worry about. And here we go. I think we can put aside us getting a history lesson. And we can focus on whether or not T1 can find a 2-0, or whether it's Nongshim that can bring us to the full 6 on the day.
I think it really comes down to, I mean, it's a good start in the bot lane already. I mean, mid expectation is Faker's going to have prior on this matchup. Bot lane, it's really one of these matchups that are a little bit fickle, because you can take a good amount of harass as Senatom. We've seen it time and time before.
Yep.
But there's like a critical mass where you end up getting harassed a bit too much, and you're not able to sustain through it. You get forced out of lane. You know, if you miss a few too many tongue lashes, you're not able to get ranged auto minions to reset your Q on center. So as long as G and the Hens can hold off and avoid getting past that critical point, make sure the trades they take aren't too bad, they can just keep scaling up in this lane to get into a comfortable spot. The thing additionally you're comfortable about is you're playing into a Nocturne. So you don't have too many concerns about being ganked or having that extra jungle pressure until he's 6. I'll also say, you know, I was talking a little bit about this, you know, as we were coming out of draft, but I really feel like this Nongshim draft is kind of solidified as just try not to give Nocturne any comfortable options to ult.
There aren't very many of them, are there?
You have 2 champions that go, oh!
Oh god. Okay, Lahens is going to go in. He does find the knock-up onto Gumayushi, who's snared. Does have to cleanse that one off, as the barrier is going to be used in exchange. But look at this, Lahens is just happily wandering amongst them. Owner and Gideon going to be fighting, as now Nongshim do get the earlier track to try and find this. Good spell shield there from Owner, as Gideon getting taken down very low. The Hens turning up will mean that the crab will be delivered to Gideon. Not to mention the fact that Calyx has a bit of control in this mid lane as well.
That immediate payoff, you know, the bouncing waves that come back, so you get extra health from Calyx, but also G1 and the Hens getting that good trade bot, able to move up first and help their jungler a big boon. But yeah, as I was saying, both Gideon and Jiwoo can go invisible, and everyone else is a tank. So there's just not good targets to ult for Owner in this one. Unless obviously you get ahead and then you can just ult anyone you want. But yeah, I feel like that's the direction Nongshim's draft went. And we'll see how things develop from here. But so far, the interactions between the Nocturne and the Viego early, I feel like Gideon's goal is just try and limit any camps you can from Owner. Slow down that level 6 if possible. You do have some decent setup in the lanes. We'll see if that actually comes to fruition and he finds some angles. As there is some CC in all 3. We do get that early swap coming out, though, towards the top side.
I feel like this swap is actually working out pretty well so far for Nongshim. As you can see, Lehen's holding his position. Oh man, Gumushi could be in trouble. Remember, no cleanse available. Carrier going to turn up, as there is the mystical journey, and that will just get him out.
Doesn't have to be in the flash there. Pretty big for Guma. Can move some carrier to save his AD carry and save that summoner as well.
Cute little play from Lehen's though.
Also stops the recall of Lehen's, who was on a ward. And is probably going to do it again.
Yep.
So now, Jiu is solo. Jiu is solo against Doran in the top lane, which we saw last game.
Oh dear.
And Doran is level 6 on Ambessa.
So I think that Jiu is going to just not be in vision for as long as he possibly can. You can see that is precisely what he decides to do. Doran does go back home.
Doran just reset in his TP back up with items, and he is into a level 4 Senna as a level 6 Ambessa.
And it's, I don't think the champion names really matter. I'm worried about the player names that are in a lane by themselves. As okay. Kingen going to be running away from both. See, like we knew this was just going to happen, right? Doran's going to flash in. There's a solo kill. Like, what did we tell you?
It was so obvious. It's, I mean, yes, we saw this last game, but also it's a level 6 Ambessa. What do you expect?
To die.
Dude, like, it's, I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what's the crazy thing as well? It's so easily avoidable if you just flash the ult.
Yeah,
flash the ult.
Yeah, yeah.
The ult come, like, you're like, Lehen's just like, hey, buddy, sorry I'm going to be a little bit late. I've been delayed. Carrier's been a little bit of a hassle. Just play safe. Okay. Just flash the ult.
Yeah.
Doesn't flash the ult.
He definitely did not flash the ult. Or much of anything at all after that as well.
Just flash the ult.
Doran at least had to flash after him, so I guess there is something to be said about that. And Gio has only died one time to Doran this game.
Yeah, to be fair.
And it was 2 in the last game.
Yeah, I just, you know.
Oh, Vega could be in a little bit of trouble here as Kingen looking to charge that ulti. Dissonance going to slow him down though as the shockwave comes in. Calyx might need to just, instead doesn't actually elect to use the ultimate, but Faker is now in trouble. The Colossal Smash comes down. Command Protect is going to be there, but another round of spells should be coming. He has Flash, but he doesn't actually use it. Faker able to escape is now Gideon getting scared, and he can understand why he does have to heartbreak out. And Nongshim, oh man, I can feel it. The tempo vibes well and truly in T1's favor here.
Why is Senna 1v1ing against Ambessa again? I'm wondering. Please, I need to know.
No, the rule is twice.
Oh, right. Yeah, of course.
Don't you remember? It's all right. Carrier going to take a magical journey. Does find Lehen's here, but Catfish, I don't think is going to be dying or anything like that. Does eat some gray health, but not too much more is going to occur as Calyx just proxying momentarily.
They can just get back, though, with health, so it will just be a plate over to Calyx. But in the meantime, I feel like they've kind of given up complete control over this top side.
Well, Doran going in against Gio and Lehen's. Another public execution, another possibly dead Gio here as he does get the piercing darkness, keeps himself alive. The Dawning Shadow as the last turret shot comes in, but there are even more bullets on this map, and the curtains have been called on Gio's life once again. He almost got his revenge, but he just doesn't quite manage to nail it as Calyx not going to be dying just yet either, as Gideon coming on over, gets the flash on in. Heroic entrance, Faker going to get knocked up and probably taken down here as he has no flash and no chance to get out. Gideon will get his first here of the game.
The tragic thing is I think Jiu played that passage of play about as well as he could.
Yeah.
But with no flash, when they throw everything at you, not really much you can do in that situation. Doran starts the fight. Ult comes down. Yeah, I guess just doesn't have time to E in response to Ona. Ona flies in, and then the side ult from Guma to finish him off.
Beautifully played there by Ona.
Ona and Doran are.
Yeah, nicely done. Guma just setting up the curtains and looking real nice. Picking up that kill.
And then here in this play, Faker without flash ends up a little bit overextended here. Calyx able to re-engage with the ultimate on the back of this stun.
A bit interesting that T1 were going for this play when they just finished overloading the top side of the map and knew that Gideon wasn't in the area, otherwise he may have been there for the fight. So A little bit odd, trying to bite off a little more than they could chew, potentially. Still going to be in the lead, though. Nothing too much to worry about. As you can see, Kingen with a slight CS advantage, but the gold lead is still going to be there as another Abyssal dive to come on through from Lahens, but not going to get the knock-up on the Gumayusi as Keria comes on over. Jiu needs to help out as this Catfish is sort of just running into two people. Captive Audience going to slow him down momentarily, and Keria keeping the fight up as there is the Devour going to get utilized. Flash out immediately, Grey Health consumed, and Keria magically journeys his way to safety. It's a lot of buttons now on cooldown, but nothing really much as a result.
A lot of things used there.
Yeah.
A lot of aggression coming out, but unable really to find things. Guma with the fancy feet, dodging pretty much everything from Lahens to able to get away. But now, no. Oh. Doesn't find him, but out. No ult from Lahens. So, Jiu potentially vulnerable again.
Yeah, there's a lot of souls over there as well. I really feel like Jiu could have just...
I would have picked
grabbed those, yeah, 100%.
Wouldn't be able to contain myself.
Nope. Stacking, man.
There's some people, right? There's different players. There's some who are like, look, I'm playing it. Oh, wait, we got some action.
Calyx may stop being alive as Dustbringer is barely going to clip him, but never mind. Sometimes you get a phase rush and you just won.
There's some people who play stacking champs, like, yeah, it's part of the champion. I'll pick up some stacks, you know, I do my thing. And there's some who they know, right? They're the ones who will die for a Heartsteel stack just for the cool noise.
Oh, 100%.
They're the ones who are like, oh, there's a pedal under the enemy tower. Well, I've got to take it before they get it.
Do you remember when Rengar had his Bone Tooth necklace?
Yeah.
That was my favorite stacking. As Calyx, this is his least favorite moment. Never mind! He's going to turn it around. The Dawning Shadow comes in. Keria trying to keep Faker alive as the magical journey is unable to be taken by the Metal Ballerina, and Faker just goes down. That turn from Nongshim was gorgeous.
Definitely didn't expect that one, and Lahens finds a clutch moment to punish Faker. Calyx with the flash turnaround. And the ult from Jiu to get him out of a dicey situation. I will say though, T1 looking at the second dragon feels a little bit crazy they're able to get this one considering Fake is dead. And I think Nongshim agree. Moving over now.
Yep. The Catfish does not approve. And there is the flash in from Gideon. Actually, no, it was just a dash in from Gideon. Comes out of the mist and secures the Drake. So we've got Hextech Soul this game as well. There's going to be a very high value soul if we ever get there, but it's one dragon apiece. As the dust settles. You also don't have Feats of Warfare locked down just yet either. 1 kill away on both sides. As Faker knows exactly where these Nongshim members are. The back is going to come on through. Calyx turning up once again. Keria also on vision. A lot of vision actually very accurately placed by both teams, meaning that it's a bit of information overload. There is the paranoia though. And Jiu, this time going to be able to move over to his teammates. Devour comes through from Lahens this time, and that will keep him alive. The flash out as Gideon looks for that reset. There is the tongue lash, and down goes the Nocturne. Feats of Warfare alongside it. As, man, that Dustbringer coming out from Gideon was terrifying. Gumayusi going to be able to break those chains, though. Not getting scared. He just gets over the wall and to safety.
I was just going to say, Jiu keeps being left alone in the mid lane. Feels like he's in his vulnerable spot, but Lahens was just close enough to be able to save him with that ultimate, and that's kind of the game plan for Nongshim. Try and mitigate this Nocturne, make sure you can't get the value. Able to save the center, able to turn it around, and now should be able to pick up those grubs as a reward. Do have a pause coming in, unfortunately.
Yep. Going to have a little bit of a break here, make sure that we can sort everything out. Hopefully it's not another audio issue for Keria or something like that.
Maybe it's Nongshim, like, hey, my screen went all dark for a second, not sure what's going on, it was a little spooky.
Maybe it's Jiu saying, oh, I accidentally only died to Doran once, and I promised that it was going to be twice. Can we go back and add a death?
He can always get another, you know, there's chances in the game.
He did die, like, when he was alone, but it wasn't just to Doran, I'm pretty sure. Although I will have to go back.
It was not. It was actually to Guma he died in the end. But it was
yes. But it was, like, Doran was there, and once again...
He was helping.
Did the public execution engage.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll just have to see. We are getting a little bit of an update here, as Lahens' monitor, I think, is going to be the issue stated that we are going to make sure that we sort out before we dive back onto the Rift. Support's getting targeted here by the tech issues today. A little bit unfortunate.
They'll weather the storm, you know. Supports, I feel like they're the sort of players who just take on the chin.
Yep. In fact, yeah. I was about to say, like, the same issues happening for everyone, but they're the only ones to report it, but that's the opposite side of the coin, isn't it? That would be, you'd be a little bit more sensitive, and so you'd call for the pause.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's the opposite. Didn't mean that.
And obviously, T1 1-0 up. It's still crazy how that last game ended, and it was just that final fight. And the thing is, this game has the potential for that as well, because we have really explosive team fight potential, where like one team has all these resets with the Viego, and the other team has the big explosive Nocturne Orianna.
And it's also like it's a Hextech Soul game as well. Soul is going to be so important. We're even on Dragons. But the Viego is the one that was able to get a couple of these early kills, and I think that is so scary, especially after what we saw in our previous series, right? Viego actually finding some brilliant angles, these resets that can come in. And you mentioned already, the Nocturne doesn't exactly have the targets that they're looking for. The Tahm Kench, if you are there with your carries, then Owner can just kind of look a little bit silly as he's making his way in. And we haven't even seen this Nocturne Orianna combo yet this game. So it's just a little bit of a worry.
Is Viego back?
Well, I mean, he is, because he's been in both series today.
But we've seen him played.
100% of today.
But we've seen him played at times when he wasn't good. But is he like back? Is he playable? You know, is he good?
Yes. I'm going to go with yes.
Okay.
I kind of like there being more of these AD jungles to go towards, and I also think that Viego is a lot more useful than a champion like Zed, for example. I feel like you add like, and I'm not quite as against Zed as Wolf is. I know Wolf absolutely hates the Zed, but I think that like Zed has his place. But the resets, it gives you a win condition, right? Like Viego can actually turn the power of your opponent against them. And so I think that being able to then play for a very clear game plan in a team fight is a great way to get yourselves onto the same team, you know?
Yep. We also have a lot of good Viego players in the LCK. I do also find it funny when you have a Viego. There's different Viego players. You have the Viego player who's like clearly got a lot of mastery over a lot of different champions, and you have the Viego player who they like possess a champion, press all the buttons, miss everything, and immediately ult out. Yes. Classic.
Yes. When they get onto a champion that they've clearly just never played before, you just put them on cooldown. Put them on cooldown, and we'll see what's going on.
Yeah.
That's why I swear to God, there's a reason why Viego players always kill the enemy jungler first.
Oh, it's so the best one is like when you kill like a Lee Sin because it's super mobile.
Yeah.
Like I play this champion.
I know this one.
You're pumped.
We're going to be resuming pretty soon, guys. So just hang in there, and hopefully, like, Lahens, a monitor is relatively important, I would say. I'm going to put that in the necessity column.
Yeah.
And here we go.
What's your ranking for like? I think keyboard's pretty high, mouse is pretty high.
I think like desktop, like the actual PC.
Yeah, that's
probably pretty high.
Pretty important as well.
Yeah.
Headphones probably, with regards to everything else we've said, probably actually pretty lower.
Yeah, I'd say lower.
Yeah.
Public execution, actually, Kingen almost looked like he decided to walk into it there, as you could see. He's gone a little bit all out, but not going to really be doing too much more of anything. And I think that the weathering of the storm that the K'Sante does kind of have to do into the Ambessa matchup has been done.
I'm not saying this was the case here, but I do feel like sometimes players give the vibe that they think it works like Yone ult, and they have to like block it, or like they think that they can ult and just dash to that point.
Yeah. And that was actually like my thinking. Based on his movement, that's what I thought he was trying to do.
Yeah.
Whereas otherwise it does just fizzle in Ambessa's case.
We have sometimes seen players use it for like the extra passive dash, you know?
Yeah.
Or for the buffer when you're casting it, you like.
I think I made fun of a player for doing that, but then they did manage to actually escape a situation just by ulting so that they can dash.
Yeah, and also like there's sometimes you can, like in this situation, if like Galio's gonna taunt you, you can ult and then immune the CC.
Yeah, the unstoppable part is very, very cool. But that was a little bit less.
Yeah.
As Doran just uses it to taxi a little further away from Kingen. Works out quite well. It's just a trade of ultimates. We've seen this many, many times. The level 11 is hit in unison here between our top laners as Gideon finds Keria, but Owner is lying in wait. There is the combo as Lahens can just gobble up the Viego. Gumushi coming on over. Dawning Shadow comes in. The shield is there, and this Tahm Kench is so tanky. Down goes the Viego, though. And the Tahm Kench is just on a silver platter, surrounded by T1 members. And that was not the fight Nongshim were looking for that time, as Kingin had teleported in, and now he is likely to just get sent home in a body bag. Not quite able to flash out of the way, but still having to use everything to just try and escape. And what happened?
I'm not really sure on the thought process of that play from Nongshim. There are just so many things wrong with it.
They're getting the play out of the way instead of it being a game-losing one at the end.
Yeah, something like that. But I mean, T1 are just so quick to respond, so quick to punish, unsurprisingly.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nongshim just kind of give them a freebie. Like, Gideon goes in super aggressively for no real reason. He's like, oh, I can go for a trade and carrier. Kind of gets hit by everything. And then doesn't ult out. Like, I feel like most times you just expect him to ult away here. And instead they use the gobble from Tahm, which now puts like your center in a vulnerable position. And I feel like he could have just ulted away, but then they end up gobbling because he got feared. But now, like, why are they positioning so aggressively after this? Like, Lehens is running forwards, Jiu ends up in a really bad position.
There's his death to Doran, though. So
yeah, there you go. That. I think maybe like the ult from Nocturne kind of hid the TPs. Well, sorry, the TP from Doran and the move down from Faker, but it just...
Maybe they thought that Galio might sometimes be involved. As Kingin has found owner, he goes all out actually, as Faker will turn up. Kingin will get shockwaved as well, as now he's just possibly in trouble. But he'll get healed up by the piercing darkness. Carrier comes over. There is the Tempered Fate, will connect onto Kingin as he eats a lot of the CC. Redemption going to be doing a fair bit of damage as well, as owner is sped up by the Dissonance. Man, didn't know that was part of the combo, as they are going to be able to get the stun. There is the public execution as well, and it's Doran that uses that as a way to taxi over to Jiu, who will get shielded up. That is everything that Nongshim had just to keep 3 members alive. Curtain's getting cold here, as you can see Gumiushi fishing for it. Lehens will get stopped on the back, and you can see that Jiu is out of range, so no need to worry about that one. Calyx continuing to be in a different lane.
Oh, here's the test. Can he get down to the bot lane?
All right. Will the drift... Oh, that was cold.
Oh!
That was gorgeous.
There we go. Slick with it.
Yep. Can actually provide a magical journey for Faker as well, so that Faker can experience exactly what Carrier just did on that journey to the bottom lane.
I mean, this game is going... I mean, that is testament to how T1 are feeling. That entire passage of Carrier just driving bot, giving the journey out. Yeah, so I don't really understand the thought process here. King just starts a fight by himself. And then he has no MR, so when he gets shockwaved by Faker, he nearly dies immediately. And then they're like trying to bail him out. It just feels like people in Nongshim are starting fights randomly, and then the whole team is trying to bail them out.
Yep.
And then they just die.
Yep. It's like they have something that they really want to do, but they're spending their entire time just at the police station paying bail money.
Yeah.
Without being able to actually do anything that they really needed to do, you know? As, all right, Paranoia has been popped here as it's another fight. Doran taking a little bit of damage. The redemption down here for T1 just to try and keep them alive as Kingin is dead. But Nongshim, not quite...
he didn't need to do that.
He did not need to do that, but it was sometimes rush of blood to the head. I mean, I remember seeing a similar play to that relatively recently, but that's just a Doran Ambessa.
Yeah,
you got to take the good with the bad.
He was so out. He couldn't have been more out.
Yeah, and then it couldn't have been more in.
And then they get him back in. It's just one last job.
Yes, well, it was... Maybe he thought Nongshim deserved it.
That's fair. To be fair, G was being given him some freebies this game, so...
Yeah. I think we need to involve Calyx in some of the plays that are happening around this map. As Gumiushi is going to be able to shove this wave in, and will be answered here by Calyx pretty comfortably. And Nongshim do have, like, there is the scaling conversation to be had, right? They're only 2,000 gold behind. It's not the end of the world. The problem is, if T1 continue to build leads and then turn that into dragons, Hextech Soul too scary.
Problem is, I think if Nongshim just keep doing what they're doing, it doesn't really matter.
That's true, they won't win.
Yeah, they just need to... It's just weird because game 1 was not this. Like, obviously...
Well, the start of this game wasn't this either, as Carrier's going to flash, journey over into the pit. He's going to be fine.
Yeah, it happened after the pause, right?
Yeah, it did.
And Lehens is the shot caller, so are we sure that they actually
need to turn his monitor back on.
They need to turn it back on. Something's gone wrong since then.
I think it's better when he plays off Giu's monitor.
Yeah, it's gotten a little bit askew. Now they are setting up for this, setting up the river. Adakan is on the bot side, so they're trying to contest some of the vision here. But it's pretty hard to move in when there is the threat of that Nocturne.
Yep.
And Doran is just going to kill this turret.
He's going to try to anyway, as the taunt does come down, so he's not able to kill it on this wave, but it's basically dead. And you've got Carrier lying in wait and moving over as well.
Been up for 30 whole seconds, and it's a little bit late for T1, I feel.
Yeah, let's chill. As Shockwave connects onto 2. Adakan down to 50%, teleport in. Here from Doran, the answering teleport is going to result as Calyx can make his way down. There's the Paranoia. Dawning Shadow doing decent damage, actually, as now the Galio comes in. It's a one-man taunt, but it's onto Gumayushi as they do manage to take the Adakan, and the magical journey brings them all out.
Follow that!
Do never follow that! Instead, it's a heroic play from Lahans that gets over the wall, and it is going to be Carrier that goes down. Abyssal dive here as Lahans. He's like, man, do I have to do everything myself? And the answer is absolutely, and another public execution there for Doran onto himself.
Well, they managed to get a couple of kills. I really thought Calyx had just gone to his death there, but
you could sense the frustration. You're like, how dare you get away with this, T1? And so he clicks the button, and we all knew it was the wrong thing to do. Lahens most of all, who has to then flash after him with the gobble.
Yeah, I mean, this was just so hard to push through this choke. So much damage done. The Nocturnal really just sways them pretty effectively. And then they're so low on HP. It feels so frustrating for them to... Oh, no.
Well, Lahens gets a little bit scared, looks to try and dive away. Heroic Entrance is going to be there this time as, my God, he survives for so long. Owner is probably dead here as he looks for a target to try and taxi his way out of the way of, and there is a flash over. Paranoia on top of the Cassante to try and get himself out, but that is not going to work. So Owner will get shut down. The gold still extremely even.
I feel like it was really important that Nongshim got that kill on the Owner because I don't think they'd be able to handle it.
Yeah, I think the emotional damage.
I think the game would have been over, not in terms of any material or literal sense, but in the mentality sense, I think the game would have been over. Oh, Carrier on the flank.
Yeah, you're going to be able to sidestep at least that deadly flourish.
He is barding so hard right now, and it's so... From the perspective of Nongshim, it's so irritating. I feel like so many of the recent plays have just been down to him on Bard.
I think it's disappointing for DNF fans as well because we saw some Bard play earlier today and it was different.
Oh, it most definitely
There was less Barding. And this is what we were talking about before. A good Bard and a not as good Bard. There is a very, very, very large and clear difference.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit rough. Whereas there are a lot of other champions that are just far more forgiving. Like Braum, you know, you can have a great Braum, but Braum will always be Braum, you know?
Yeah. Braum does Braum things.
He does. He puts up door.
As long as you put the shield up in the right direction and you just auto people and hit the occasional Q.
Yep. And as long as you're aware that you get resistances from W.
It does do that.
That's very important.
It also gives resistances.
Indeed. Yeah, that's what I should have.
Sharing is caring.
Exactly. All right, Nongshim set up for this dragon in 30 seconds time. Lahens and Gideon in the area. Base skin Tahm Kench, I kind of love it. You know, it's got that real Oliver Twist vibe.
Oh, they are going to look for Doran.
Okay, well, they are probably just going to kill him as well, as he cannot publicly execute himself out of that one. And Gideon going to be able to lock down the kill. Doran really has had a little bit of a vacation moment towards the end of this particular game. That's going to even out the gold and also give Nongshim an avenue in to fight for this Drake.
It's a good pickup. He's down for 30 seconds. He should just be able to take it. And T1 decide to let it go, you know. It's only second dragon for Nongshim. They don't have the top lane available. They won't opt to do anything more on the back of this.
Perplexing. I think just wasn't aware that there were so many members of Nongshim over there ready to knock him down, but entirely sure. Owner is going to be able to answer with a bit of an eradication of the enemy jungle. Gromp going to be secured as well as this blue buff. But let's have a look at this play one more time. As, yeah, Nongshim were just kind of all here.
Yeah, I was picking up the waves and hoping to go for a flank, and then realized immediately it was a bit too far forward.
Yeah, maybe had just a different idea of what the play was. Like, thought that it was T1 setting up for a play against Nongshim that were already in that river, but the dragon hadn't quite spawned yet, so it was just a little bit off tempo.
Yeah. now T1 setting up around the Baron area and just trying to zone everyone away. They have a lot of, don't have a ton of vision in the area, but they're denied vision in a really large area around.
Yeah, Lord Dom's completed here for Gumayusi as well. That's as second item. It's actually kind of crazy what he's built here. But
Oh my
still,
god.
you can see does a lot of
Not
damage.
Walk up to the Jhin.
Yeah. Guma kind of built different on this champion.
You will have to press Q a lot. Oh, Faker.
Faker is just going to get ulted on here as Gideon comes over, flashes out of the shockwave. There's the paranoia, and the stun comes in, but down goes Gideon, and Faker, he's just baited them all in. Let's see whether Gio can make this one happen, but he has to sidestep the Tempered Fate. Owner is still chasing. Faker is still alive. The Dawning Shadow's not enough as finally the Galio will be able to secure the kill, but Nongshim have well and truly overextended at this point in time. And how many times does Faker have to do this for people to learn that you should not try to chase this man?
They fell for it. They fell for the bait. They try and collapse on a Faker. They think they have the numbers advantage, but the backup comes in force. And one after another, they fall apart. T1 gonna get the Baron. Oh, Calyx.
He just kind of walks at them. He's been doing this all game, and it's impressive, the bravery.
You know what? That's solidarity.
Yeah,
He'll die with his team.
he will. He did.
He did do that.
We've got T1 going down relatively low, but they will be able to secure this Baron. If Doran dies to it, that would be very funny.
That would be very funny.
But it doesn't actually happen.
But you know why?
Sad.
You know why he doesn't die to it?
Because only Krugs can kill Doran.
Exactly. It's Baron, it's not Krugs. This was kind of tragic. Yeah, Lahen's, I feel like if you read the flash, this
Oh, if
play
that
could have been
Q
different.
had have landed as well, maybe like Faker is just dead then.
I was kind of following Faker. Faker got chased down here by Calyx, and Calyx didn't land the taunt, but landed the Q. But what happened over here, because public execution and then the double stun from Carrier, because Lahen's had eat, but didn't eat Jiwoo, so I was wondering what happened, but that double stun from Carrier was so good.
Man.
And there's my answer.
Yep, just brutal. The double knockback there from Kingen, not really going to do much of anything at all. So T1 pulling back this game. It's a 4.5k gold lead as well as a result. And this is slowly but surely falling to the wayside here for Nongshim, who, even in this game, there have been moments, right? It has felt, you know, like that rally, you know, the tennis, where the back and forths have been happening, but I feel like the ball is well and truly out of court at this stage for Nongshim. As T1 pushing down with Baron, they are very, very good at using this buff. It's their favorite thing, as we know. And Guma just a few bullets, the last one in the chamber here, as we can see, as he does cleanse. That is a cooldown that they do need to be wary of, but the curtains are going to get called here. And down goes this inhibitor turret. There's the shockwave combo. They find it. The bullet's going to ring true as well. Deadly flourish. My God, Gumayusi. Do not give this man the Jhin or the Varus, and they did both in this series. As Kingan's going to go down, and once again, you might blink and miss it, as T1 will just close out this game number 2. And my goodness, what a week for this team, taking down Gen G, going from strength to strength here with a swift 2-0 over Nongshim, feeling like they're back here in round 3.
I feel like Nongshim had moments in this game, in the last game, where it felt like maybe they'd be able to have an edge, but when it came to the decisive, game-deciding parts of this match, T1 were just so far ahead. Once again, showing their skills, showing why they are now in such great form, able to take down Gen G over the decisive 2-0 victory over Nongshim with some phenomenal clutch moments. A great show at their home ground for their fans.
Yep, incredible stuff. And I want to say, just to really go on with what you're saying about a great show, because Doran, what an entertainer today. He was fantastic. His ambassador never fails to entertain, but I tell you what, Gumayusi having an absolute day out. Carrier's Bard, always an absolute joy. And T1, man, like, this is the thing. Like, the problem is anything can happen throughout any game, and then they can just click their fingers and win, especially when Carrier is on champions that can just warp a situation. Bard is one of them. Poppy is definitely one of them. And sometimes he just decides he's going to win.
Yeah, I think this ability to decide he's just going to win is pretty effective.
Yeah, it's a good one.
A valuable one to have as a League of Legends player. But yeah, I think the whole team on pretty impeccable form today. And you can tell the vibe's generally pretty good.
Yeah. It is, and you can imagine when you've got an entire stadium full of fans, is just must really show you that you've got the support out there. As Carrier going to go for a bit of a nap after this one, you could imagine. It's been a relatively long day, I guess. It's only 8 p.m. here in Korea, so absolutely fine. Definitely hasn't even hit gamer hours just yet. It's almost dinner time though.
Yeah. Maybe you have to wake up a bit earlier, you know?
Yeah.
But did a lot of carrying in those 2 games. But yeah, I mean, T1, I don't think the outcome of this was too much of a surprise, but I feel like because they're in the Legend Group, because Legend Group games are always going to be closer, there's always going to be more question marks when you go to each match. Could this be one where we get an upset? Because the teams are always so much closer than a typical LCK regular season week, where it might be, you know, T1 against a bottom table team.
Yep.
Youngshim are a team who could upset, and we saw that today. There were a lot of moments.
I mean,
T1
why aren't we going to game
business.
3? It's 1-1, isn't it?
Oh.
You know, if you had have missed the last few seconds of the first game, that might be what you're expecting, but not to be the case. So T1, I think I don't really want to take away from T1 though the victory in game number 1, just because it was so incredibly decisive. That is what makes T1 terrifying.
Yeah.
Is that you make any mistake, and it's not like you give them a lead. No, it's just the game's over.
I think for teams like T1, for top teams, it feels frustrating because you can do so many things right, and it feels like you just do one thing wrong and the game is over.
Yep.
In reality, you did, you know, maybe a few small things wrong that all just cascaded into one major thing wrong. But at the end of the day, it really doesn't take much. And I mean, Carrier on this board,
He's a monster.
the amount of double stuns, I feel like he thrived on the fact that Senna and Tom want to stick together. And he's like, wait, they're going to be next to each other? That's just double stun targets for me. Multiple times in these clips, we're going to see this double stun opportunity. And yeah, this was pretty textbook.
You needed to have this. You know, it's the T1 home ground. You know, it's the LCK Roadshow. And when it's roadshows like this, you need to have the fakey yakety sax moment where the enemy team feels the need to kill him. And it actually just kind of loses them the game.
Flash double stun again.
Carrier's just pretty good.
It's brutal. I like how he puts the portal there.
He's like, King, here, please, be
He's
my
like,
guest.
take it, flash through here. You'll be fine.
나 앞에. 타워 깨지긴 하거든.
Gonna have a look at this one as finally the combo comes through, as we can see there. Manages to pull in the Galio.
하나 더 있어, 하나 더.
I'm pretty sure there was a shockwave on top of it. It might have just been Gumiyushi looking at them, but that is just the state of this game. As T1 finished them off, looking pretty cool, calm, and collected here in this moment as well.
Jin is just doing so much damage.
Yeah, man.
I feel like Jin is one of these champions where sometimes you feel like he just does nothing, and then sometimes I'm like, how is it legal?
I feel like in this game he had a hidden infinity edge that he just like had in his back pocket rather than in his inventory.
Yeah.
So we didn't actually see it. We're gonna see, look, yeah, that's absurd amounts of damage. And it's not like this game was a stomp from go to woe, right? Like this was relatively even, you know, until it fell off a cliff towards the end. It's impressive stuff out of Gumiyushi. I mean, this guy's Jin is absolutely fantastic. We mentioned it at the end of the game, but his Jin, his Varus, so good. And Carrier is going to pick up POM, sorry. Would have got POG if we still had it for definitely this game, but I thought the Poppy was also absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, I mean, I think both games, a lot of clutch moments. I feel like the final fight, he did so much on the Poppy and the Bard. I mean, it was just a masterclass, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see the vote spread because I think a lot of people had good games, but I think, you know, this is a...
I think there might be like...
Carrier POM.
Yeah, maybe there's a couple of Guma votes in there.
Yeah.
But I think for the knowers, it'll be the Carrier vote. Because, I mean, in game 1, it was kind of a bit of a mess. Maybe it's to Doran because I was never more entertained.
The entertainment vote.
My vote is often always to Doran because he's just fun, man. What a great guy. And still managed to win that game even after having a bit of a time as well.
He did have a bit of a time.
That's my way of explaining it anyway. It was just very weird. The vibe's definitely good though. I feel like you always, like, they have the perfect balance. There could be a T1 sitcom now. They have the perfect, like, comic relief guy. who's come into the top lane, you know? It's kind of beautiful. Although
Well, he's like the Joey from Friends.
yeah, exactly. And, you know, Friends is really popular over here because the BTS guy that did it to learn English. And it's now time for us to have a bit of a conversation. So let's throw it over to Jason. Ji-sun, sorry for the translation.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Ji-sun for the POM interview translation. Let's welcome Kyria on the side of T1 after their clean to a win up against Dongsin Red Force. T1 is undefeated on the LCK Roadshow T1 home ground. How does it feel to get your revenge on Nongshim after that round 2 loss? I'm very happy that we managed to get our revenge, and us T1 LOL fan and then even the Valorant team didn't drop a single match, so I'm very glad that we were able to get this outcome. And Kyria, you are the back-to-back POM. What part of your performance are you most satisfied with? I thought, you know, either Doran or Owner performed really well, but I think I got some extra points by lending a lot of skills as Bard. Well, it was a 2-0 victory, a clean scoreline, but Nongsin Red Force was also on fire. What was the most tricky part playing up against them, and how did you plan to break through? Yeah, Nongshim is a very strong team, and Lihans as a support, he is a very strong pillar that brings a team together really well, so I kept that in mind. Kyria, your Poppy in game number 1 was phenomenal. Even after giving a Baron and letting Nongshim get that momentum, you shut it down in one last team fight. How did you find that angle? After they got the Baron, I still thought that we do kind of had the lead. I never thought that we were, you know, very behind. So I think one team fight was able to clean everything up. And then game 2. Enemy kind of banned out many AD jungle champs and kind of forced Nocturne on the side of T1. So how did you plan to deal with the drafting? I knew they were just gonna go for the kind of reactionary comp. So when we were drafting the bottom duo, there were a lot of options, and then Bard was the pick that could kind of round out the comp and kind of make a lot of follow-ups for the teammates, so I went for that. That Bard was just a menace, you know. You definitely showed your Bard top-tier performance. How would you like to rate your Bard performance on a scale of 10? The fans are saying 10. I would say 10 out of 10. With today's win, Faker also hit his 3,500 LCK kills, the first ever player to do it. Any words of congratulations for Faker on this historic moment for him? 3.5k kills. I mean, I don't think no one is even close to Faker's kill record. I hope we can, maybe. I can close the gap on the assist leaderboard. But still, you know, we are a team, so I'm just glad that we are just making new records, new history together. A huge win on a huge stage, and the crowd, the fans, were behind you the whole way. I think with this momentum, T1 must feel even more fired up for what's ahead. Any message to the fans who cheered you on so passionately throughout the roadshow? Yeah, with this back-to-back schedule, we were able to get a lot of energy from the fans, and we were having so much fun together. Back in the low park, I hope we can do well, you know. I mean, we can do even better. That's our goal. So with your, you know, energetic support, I hope we can put up even stronger performance back in the low park. That was Kyria from T1 after their victory up against Dongsin Red Force. And I'm gonna pass it back to the space. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jason, for that awesome translation as we are getting in here with the 2-0 from